musical instrument in California. It is made from the elderberry tree, a tree that is very important to us. Elderberries for food. The flowers are for medicine, tea. The branches like this are for musical instrument. And I use the leaves to dye my material. And you hear it. We are there with you and you are here with us. Thank you, Elvis.
When I came to California, I was like 9 years old, and I went to the Pomo tribe. My brother-in-law is a Pomo, and he talked to me about the California people. And he talked to me about the California people. And those of you who are with me, I always tell you about the roundhouse, the big head. If you guys remember, I tell you the story. But my brother-in-law, like I was saying, my dad passed to me. They come from the Oakland Bay Area, actually the Lem colony, the Pomos. And I used to go there and see the clapper, the sick. And my brother-in-law used to tell me about it. And it was really important to the tribe and to the people. And so my brother-in-law is the one that really inspired me to be the chairman. Go after being the chairman of the tribe, because he was the chairman of the Pomo tribe. And then after he was done, he went into his cultural ways and helped bring back the Pomo blessings through his father. I met his father and mother that are gone, passed in the 80s. And so I mentioned to you about my sister fighting cancer. But just a week before that, my brother-in-law passed. And before he passed, we were at the Ninth Circuit Court in San Francisco, and he was becoming ill. And I stood with him, and he turned to me and he gave me this. And I said to him, I said, "But Thomas, that's yours." And he looked at me, he says, "It's time that you learn how to use it, because the things that you're doing." And so he passed. And we just put him away, I think, 2 weeks ago? And when the family came to me and asked if I could make a staff, because we're runners, and we run the body to the wake, to the service, and then to the burial ground. So the Pomos, Northern California tribes, came down. Many people from the California came to the funeral. And so on the top of the staff, I made a clapper. And everyone was so happy because his clapper was going with him. And so the staff was made on the top part. My nephew, who continues the Pomo tradition, said, "Uncle, I picked you to do the staff because I think you know how to make it and what my father would have want." So I took the yucca from the oak flat where it's made, our crowns are made, our holy people. And I took that and spent the time on the mountain making them. But I cried thinking about the clapper. And then now you present one to me. It really, really means a lot. Thank you.
I know we have still a handful more speakers. So just to kind of give you that hint. I know we're over 1 p.m., but we're just soaking it all in, all this medicine. So I'd like to invite up my sister, Auntie Lydia Ponce, and she is Quechua Mayo. She's an amazing, very strong organizer. Probably the most active organizer in the LA area, and I've been honored to work with her on a number of things, all types of different efforts, and she's pretty much involved in anything. So she's also part of Society of Native Nations, and so I'd like to invite her up to share some words in prayer. She also supplied this PA.
One of two, because one of them's running out of battery. Greetings, relatives. It's nice. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. 20 years ago, we were here for San Franciscan Peaks, and we were here with the Benalis. We were here with Clee, and we helped over 300 relatives from out of state come, and we did such a great, tremendous job then, because it was a different world then, to help them in the endeavors, and they had their hearing at the same court. So we know the neighbors on either side and across the street and around the corner from that court. I'm Lydia Ponce, I am Mayo. I am Quechua, and my land is far away, so I try to be as gentle as I can upon this land. But right now I'm employed to mess with Texas, so I got 1 foot there for the Gulf of Mexico, and 1 foot here, where I was born and raised in California. However, we're not supposed to recognize those borders, and some people are quick to draw that line and tell me that I should go to my lands and work there. I can't go to Sinaloa. I can't go to Payata, Peru. My people have introduced alcohol to their ceremonies, and some have domestic violence to put women in the kitchen and somewhere in the shadows and treated less than. I don't need to be part of those ceremonies, because the ceremonies here have helped me tremendously, lift my heart. What I want to share with you is that our children are the same, from the ones that are being found at the crime scenes at the boarding schools to the ones that are caged. And it's no wonder that the monarch butterfly is orange, and that's the beautiful emblem, the code of medicine that we use, because they travel, and those butterflies don't know borders. So when we talk about every child matters, yes, we need to combine our efforts to protect all the children. And I'm gonna close with this. With the international conversation that I'm having with my job, I hear that green money talks. The green money talks like this and like this. The international, we created a UN delegation for society. I told my boss I didn't want to be a part of it if we couldn't have teeth or a spine. On the national, why do we have ECWA being attacked? Why do we have a senator, a policy writer in Montana writing to make sure that we take a second look at the reservations and introducing these laws to get indigenous people off the land? 150, 200 years, because those minerals and resources are under the roads and the unpaved and the homes where people have known, that's the home they've known. Why is such a thing happening with MMIW, missing and murdered indigenous women? So we have to stop working in silos and heal those conflicts in our heart that keep us from talking to one another. Because as soon as we start to pray together, things get better, things feel better. That's why it's raining on us right now. I feel that this prayer, when it started from last week to right here, right now, it's because we need to share these things. Because the government is going to give us anything. They're not going to give us anything without an attachment, or we have to fly their banner, or we can't speak against something. So we need to tell our elders, when they're shared the consultation and consent, they've known and been known to hook the conversation into artifacts and remains all around the world. And they put fear in these conversations, and so then it gets lost as to what they want to do with the ocean, with the water, with the land, with the mountains, with the extractive industries. So here and now, I just pledge my prayers in the morning and at night to everyone here and to those who couldn't be here, and to connect in that good way. I answer to Grandma Gloria Ariana, she's my elder, and I answer to Chief Anthony Morales. And I answer to my boss, who's actually Gloria's nephew. And he's California Indian, and we're trying to take care of the people there in Texas too in a good way. So I'm just saying, wherever I go, if there's anything I can do, I can do my best. And I offer my prayers, and I offer warm reception, big smile in my heart to be here. It's an honor, and I thank you. And we have burritos, and we need to get them out while they're warm.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I just want to mention that we have a very small group of organizers that we really put a lot of hard work into supporting Apache Stronghold for our little leg of it. And we kind of formed an unofficial group called LA Support for Oak Flat. And we just needed a name, so we started putting that on our signatures, and we created different things like that. But thankful that the word got out, and I want to recognize Lydia Ponce, who just spoke, as well as Kenya Alcocer, who's going to come up and speak in a second, Yaut Masahua, Lori Steelink. I feel like I'm forgetting folks. But we met on Zoom meetings and just really pulled it together. Tina Calderon as well. And we also had Tina Rios, who really helped to connect resources in Pasadena. So thank you all and all the people who helped. We also had a little bit of funding that came in. We were no budget, until like maybe a few days ago. So Wish Doyo helped us. We got some funding from them, as well as Society of Native Nations, and then Tochli's organization as well. So, but here's Kenya Alcocer. She's an amazing organizer. She'd like to share some prayers. She's from Union del Barrio and also LA Tenants Union. Thank you and welcome her.
I would like to ask Lupe and Yolanda to come up here with me, please. Come up. Come on, Lupe. Yes. These are two of our community members from Boyle Heights and from Washington Association. And I think that one of the things that we just wanted to say is we're here in support of not just the Apache Stronghold, but we're here as a community. We are here because we know that what we're building here in LA, it is an anchor for every single community to start building in their neighborhoods. The LA Tenants Union started in our little office in Boyle Heights when, as Unión de Vecinos, we were losing funding, and we were losing we weren't losing our fight, but we were losing funding because we were winning our fight against gentrification. And then we started seeing that the power of tenants started building up a momentum, and we noticed that it wasn't enough for us to be fighting in Boyle Heights. We needed to be a huge presence throughout the city of LA. And that's where the Tenants Union was born, out of this necessity to make sure that tenants all over the city were able to fight for their housing, were able to fight to stay, and against displacement and gentrification. Now we have 13 locals all over the city of LA, but that's not enough. So we joined AUTUN, which is the Autonomous Tenants Union, that it's a national tenants union. And we're all over the country now. And now we're actually surpassing the country, and we're looking at tenants unions in Canada and all over the world that are organizing for housing and housing rights. But we know that there is no such thing as housing rights if we don't have the rights to the land. If we don't have the actual ability to say, this is our land and we're here to stay, and nobody is ever gonna move us out. And that is why we feel that the Apache Stronghold is teaching us a lesson of like fighting for land. It's something that it's sacred. We're fighting for a home, which has become sacred to us. And this is the way that we're connecting spiritually to everybody in the community. And Unión de Vecinos and the LA Tenants Union, we are not just fighting against capitalism here in the United States, we're fighting against imperialism, because a lot of our members had to migrate from their homes where they were displaced from and are now here building a new home. We're fighting for solidarity, but we're also fighting for internationalism because we know that we live in the belly of the beast. This country exports atrocities all over the world, and that is why we have a double burden. We're not only here to liberate ourselves from these evils, we're also here to liberate the world from this evil. And that is why we feel that it is important for us to unite and to build community and to build the world that we want to see, not just here, but everywhere. So today we are here to say that we are fighting with you, but we are also asking all of you to join the fight with us. That this fight is a fight against the biggest evil. That capitalism is not giving us an inch, therefore we never should give them an inch either. So we're here to fight together, and as long as we're here, we're also part of the Poor People's Campaign, and we do have a saying that we say forward together, and then we scream not one step back. So I would like to do that chant with you here because we feel that this is an important moment in which we are committing ourselves to this movement. And then there's also a saying we say at Unión de Vecinos a lot: many are called to this, but few are the chosen who take the commitment to fight this fight. And here we see the chosen few that are committed till the end to make sure that Oak Flat and the entire Mother Earth is safe. So thank you for being here. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Come on, we need to do it better than that. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Thank you.
I write for Wisdom Quarterly. I've announced this today, and then the Pasadena courthouse thing.
Hopefully, thank you so much, Kenya. Thank you for all of your work. Thank you for those words and prayers. Hopefully, everyone has grabbed a burrito. They're getting a little bit cooler as the time progresses. And thank you for cooking. Guerrilla Food Not Bombs is another group that that cooked the breakfast this morning and these burritos. So thank you to Guerrilla Food Not Bombs. I'd like to invite up Daryl to speak. Okay.
Yate, she nas ejitabado na kaidana pashin kitlachini dashache. Ado she dashanala. Atona halida nashado kintlana dashagan. I'm White Corn, Zuni Edgewater, born for those going home. My maternal grandparents are Red House, paternal grandparents are Salt. I'm originally from the community of Tunnelea, which is on Navajo Nation in northern Arizona. And these are my children. This is Machias, and this is my youngest, Machiran. And we're coming from Flagstaff, from the base of Doko Osli, the San Francisco Peaks. And I want to emphasize that the reason that we're here is, although we know there's a fight and there's a struggle with the San Francisco Peaks, we know and understand the importance of Oak Flat. As a family, we've been there and know of its sacredness. We know of its healing ability, and we felt connected to that. I, as a male being, have been raised by my mother and taught by my grandmother and guided by my great-grandmother, not knowing any male figures in my life other than my grandmother and my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and my mother. Have always struggled with where I should find myself in my life, how I should carry myself. And years ago, I chose to look to Navajo way of being and find myself praying in the ways that I seen my grandmother do. And back in 2005, there was a large gathering that happened at the base of San Francisco Peaks. And I was a young father of my children at the time and felt very lost about where I should be leading them, how I should be guiding them and teaching them. And we had the blessing to know that there were people running to the mountain. And it wasn't anything that I was very familiar with. And so I wanted to be a part of that. My family wanted to be a part of that. And we heard that the Apache were running and coming up towards Flagstaff. And I didn't know what that meant. They just said, well, if you want to run, go find the Apache. They're coming up the road. So quickly we gathered and we jumped in our vehicle and we raced out towards, in the direction of where the Apache were coming in from, down what we know as Lake Mary Road. And I remember very vividly when I saw them coming in this large procession, caravan of vehicles moving and runners alongside the road. And just ahead of me, I remember seeing a Park Service person turn on his lights and pull in front of them. And I thought, oh, man, they're not going to run now. They're getting stopped. It's not going to happen. And just like water, they moved around that Park Service vehicle and kept running. And I saw Vernelda and I saw Winsler out, keep going. And the officer's like, no, stop, stop. And they just kept going. He's like, just go. And I was like, what happened? Like, no, we're not supposed to do that, I thought. And then the runners kept going. I didn't know what was going on behind me because I wanted to run. I wanted to be with the Apache running and to feel what that felt like, even though I had no idea what that meant. And I remember seeing another highway patrol do the same thing. And I remember seeing Winsler out in front. We've got the documents and runners keep going, right? And again, I saw this crazy, unimaginable power of people, little kids, as little as the ones that are sitting right here, and elder. I saw people in boots. I saw people in jeans running, and I'm like, where did these guys come from? Wow. And I remember pulling up behind one of the vehicles, and I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I ran up to the door and I said, can I run? And then the person that was sitting there said, get in. And I'm like, oh, but I want to get in. Oh, okay. Jumped in the back of the truck, and that person that told me, just get in if you want to run, was Vanessa. And I had no idea what to do. So I'm sitting in the back of the truck with all of these young people, and I'm like, hey, where'd you guys come from? And they say, we came from Mount Graham, and I had no idea where that was at. And I'm like, where is that? They're like, do you know where Safford is? I'm like, no. Do you know where Payson's at? Maybe. And they're like, well, we ran from there about 4 days ago or 5 days ago. And I'm like, oh, wow. So where did you guys start running? They're like, Mount Graham. I'm like, how far is that? They all looked at each other and they're like, probably about 100, 200 miles. And I'm like, you ran that whole way? And they're like, yeah. Every mile? They're like, yes. And we just got up there. I'm like, where did you run from? They're like, from San Carlos to the top. And then we came back down, and now we're running to San Francisco Peaks. And I was blown away. And I'm like, I met up with some runners that ran a block. And they drove all the way over here. Huh? And they're like, well, that's not how we do it. And I remember when they told me to get out and carry the staff and run my portion, I didn't know what to do. It was the scariest moment in my life, probably scarier than when my sons were born, because I was like, I hope I don't screw this up, which I said the same thing when they were born. Please don't let me screw this up. And I'm running with the staff, and the little kids are telling me what to do, and I'm like, ah, right? And then I get back in the truck, and I see more people running. And I remember as we were coming into Flagstaff, people yelling at the runners, go home, go back to your res. And I've grown up in and around Flagstaff my whole life, and I was probably about 24, 23 at the time. And I thought, wow, I've never heard that. Now I'm sure I've heard it before, but it never registered until I was with these people who were so proud and carried themselves with such energy. And I remember this older lady, grandmother, running with this little kid, probably like 4 years old, and they were barely moving. Nobody was telling them, hurry up. Which I would have probably been, get out, run, hurry up. Tell my kids that. And I see them moving, and they were just glowing, so happy and full of life. And people are yelling at them, screaming these things at them, yelling obscenities. And I was just embarrassed for them driving by, and I'm like, but I didn't see it waver anybody. Nobody stopped. And they kept moving. Now, I was one of those people who thought, well, I'll run that one day, and then that will be my part. And my son's mother and her family were going to Lake Tahoe, when I saw the runners come in and knowing that they came from northern Nevada, I was like, wow, that's so cool you ran all the way here. Because we had an opportunity, my family, just to go to Tahoe, and I'd never been, I still haven't been there, right? And for me, it was one of those times where it was like, all expense paid, let's go. It was one of those things, it's just that you feel like you have to do in your life because it's consuming, right? And when we got to the base of the mountain and I saw Winsler speaking to his family and everybody else, and he was like, here, carry the staff. You got to run this next part. And I'm like, I just got here. And he was like, you're from here, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, here, you're running. I was like, oh, okay. I tried to figure out what to say to my family. I'm like, I guess I'm running. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm running. And I remember when we got to the stopping point, I thought, where are we supposed to go? And somebody said, oh yeah, we're supposed to go to this gathering. And I saw them come to the gate and say, okay, we're supposed to go here, but we're stopping right here tonight. And we'll go tomorrow. And I'm thinking, but we're here. Like, can't we just go in? Like, everybody else is going in. Like, I didn't know why we stopped. And so my family, we were supposed to be on the road like 2 hours before to go to Tahoe and enjoy our weekend or whatever that was supposed to be. And I looked to them and I'm like, what should we do? Winsler, this family, we don't even know who they are. They're like, come with us. We're going to go sing. We're going to go dance. We're going to have some music and some food. Join us. And I'm like, they don't even know who we are. And they're like, come with us. I mean, like, I'm sure that having little kids with me was probably like, yeah, they're okay. They're not dangerous. But I mean, I had no idea. And I was standing there and I see this man talking and orating, and I even seen them moving. And one of the kids comes up and I'm like, who is that guy? And he's like, that's our chairman. What? That's your chairman? What's he doing running? Like, what's going on? Where are you guys from? And he's like, San Carlos. That's our chairman. And I'm like, wow, okay, wow, chairman's telling me to do something. I better do it. Like, I didn't know what that was like. And so I looked to my family. I said, what should we do? And they're like, we're going to stay. Okay, we're going to stay. We'll figure this out. And we showed up that next morning. And then Winston did the same thing again. He's like, here, you're going, and told us we had to run. And I'm like, oh, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I don't know where I'm supposed to stop. How far does he want me to go? How far am I supposed to go? Like, I had no idea. But when I stopped, I just felt my heart like lift out of me, and it was just this awakening And when I saw them dance in with prayer, with ceremony, I was just in awe that my children could be in that space with these holy people beneath this mountain that had carried me through my childhood and all of the self-destruction that I tried to put on myself. And I was just so fortunate to have them witness that. Nobody told them how to be. Nobody could tell them how to be. No police, no park service, no white people driving by yelling obscenities, nothing. They already knew who they were, and I was trying to make sure that my sons knew who they were gonna be. And I remember sitting in a space very similar to this, and I saw Vanelda pulled up, and I saw her take care of all the elders as they all sat down. And I saw her sit next to Winsler, and I saw his family huddle around him like they are right now. And I was just like, wow. Wow, I wish I could show my kids this. I wish they could see that at home. And I remember our Navajo Nation president pulling up in his entourage. I was so embarrassed because here he comes with these Escalades and his suit, and he gets out and he says his thing and he gets back in and he drives away. And I remember one of the little kids were like, "Is that your president?" Yeah. I didn't vote for him though. I didn't know what to say at that point because I was just in awe of this family, and they're like, "Come to eat with us." And I'm like, okay. So we sat at a table by ourselves over in the corner, and I remember like, wow, we're just sitting next to them. Like we were still starstruck with this whole family, all of these people that had run. And I remember, okay, it's time to pay, and my son's mom and I were counting our change, and we're like, man, we shouldn't have eaten here. We should have just shared a plate. Like we were trying to figure this out. And Winston walks up and he's like, "Let me see that." And I thought he was just gonna look at it. He walked away with it, and I'm like, where did he go? And then I was like, I came back to his table and I'm like, I need to pay for my check. He's like, "We got it." And I was like, what? You did what? And the reason I share that, because here we are, all of us. And I was telling Miss Stacy over here, right, that this is family. We're all here as family. And when I saw the runners come in and I kept hearing about 2005, I thought, when 2005 changed my life. And it changed the lives of my sons. Winsler, Vanessa, the whole Nosey family, the way that they are is because of you. You showed them that it's okay to be as you're born to be, Indigenous, Navajo, Tana. You showed them when they had the opportunity to run themselves that it didn't matter how far they ran, how fast they ran, but that they ran. As a single parent, there's no greater gift to know that even if I were not to be here on this earth, that my sons still have a family with all of you. So yeah, thank you. And now we're here again, all of us. We continue to pray. We continue to come together as family. Ashkore, come together as family. Don't be shy. Don't be staying in the back like I did. Because when you're right here with everybody, we're stronger. We have a greater chance at coming through whatever that outcome will be on Tuesday. My hope is that it's in our favor because it changes the world like they changed my world. And if not, we're still here together because there's another fight. There's another day. So Ashkara, please come together, stay strong, have faith, pray. I know that Oak Flat is sacred. I felt it. I go there and I pray because there's a connection there. I know that Mount Graham is sacred because when I was there, I heard my brother who had passed away's voice there. I've seen things that I cannot explain in white man's ways. All I know is that it's sacred, that it's powerful. And I have this family over here to thank for those gifts, that guidance, that blessing, everything that my grandmother tried to teach me when I was little and I was just not listening. You reinforced it. And I love hearing you speak. I've told you many times before, Winsler, you're my hero. And your family is amazing. I love your family so much. So thank you for everything that you've done for me and my children. And we'll always be running with you whenever you need us.
Dagate shi basel paikonze shin sanayashi badonkahe shi chair kalas and calls going you. Hi, my name is Base Pike. I am from the Old People Standing in a Row clan. I'm from the Badonkahe band. I am Chair Kalashi, enrolled into the St. Carlos Apache tribe. I come here today as a member of Apache Stronghold to give out gifts to the people who have helped us organize this spiritual convoy and who had give blessings to us and shared solidarity with us. And I guess the first person is Lydia Ponce. Yes, we have a gift for you. I just want to say thank you for everything that you have done and standing with us. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
And then next we have is Lori, right? Lori Stillink. We appreciate it all. Thank you. Next up we have Yout. Okay, they just went to their car. They're gonna be back. Okay. And then the next on our list is we have Kenya, and I just want to say thank you for taking us on that community struggle tour. It really showed us what's evil out there and what we really need to do. So thank you. The indigenous people stand with you. And then we want to mention Stephanie. So, here you Stephanie. Here.
The gift.
We also want to acknowledge Tina Calderon. She's not here, but she was a big help for this. And then we also want to acknowledge the extra helpers, Tina Rios, Joe Galares, Eric Guetta, Yolanda, and sorry, we're getting mixed up on pronunciation. Pangea and Tochili. So we want to thank those, and we want to thank the donors, Wishtoyo, the Society of Native Nations, and Tochili again. Yeah. And then if any of the people who we named up are here, we'd like to give you a burden basket.
Go ahead.
We also want to thank Gloria. She's not here, but she did the opening prayer. But I remember in 2017, we met up with her in LA when we came for our Black Stone our caravan, and she had really welcomed us. And so she's not here, but we really want to acknowledge her for standing with us. Oh, okay. She has a beaded bracelet that we gave her, and then we want to acknowledge the runners, coach, and all the runners that had came, coach and her team. They're the prayer warrior runners, and Apache Stronghold, we run to our sacred places as mountain spirit runners, and them coming from the mountain, it gave us a sense of home of our ancestors who come from the mountain. So what they did was really powerful, and they gave a lot of blessings just being here. So hey, yet to them. And then our next talker is gonna be our next spokesperson that I'm happy to introduce is my auntie Dominique Romo Nosy, sorry. I just want to mention her and have her come up.
Dagote, she Dominique Nosy Romo Gunza, Discussan Nishli, Sikane Budishti, Shama Duri Nosy Gonza, Shata Dominic Romo Gonza, Shawaya Marilyn Harris, Shawaya Hasteen, Paul Nosy Jr., Taish Jije Biagajan, Taish Jije Dianjaje, Sengade Nehia Ke Akchin Tona Atam and Nehi Nishli. Greetings. My name is Dominique Nosy Romo. My clans are Diskasaan, which means mountains in a row, and Sikane, which are the sand people. My mother is the late Doreen Nosy. My father is Dominic Romo. My grandmother, Marilyn Harris, and my grandfather, the late Paul Nosy Jr. My sister, Bianca Jean, which means to be blessed and blessed around. My brother, Dian Jaja, which means little medicine man. I represent the St. Carlos Apache as well as the Akchintana Autumn. And here for having me right now, your very last speaker. I know you guys must be enlightened and so energized. I wanted to just like give a little background of where I come from. My grandfather, he was very active in the movement, and I wanted to acknowledge my sister, Bial Gajan. That's her birth name. When she was born, she was given this name, Bial Gajan Star, and that signifies the morning star that we pray to in the morning, given to her by a medicine man, a known medicine man. My mom's health wasn't very great, so when she had my sister, it was either her or my sister. And she prayed every morning before the sun came up, and she looked for that star at the hospital window. My sister, she prayed for her to be strong, and that's exactly what she is, and she gives me that. She's the one I go to because, as you can tell, I'm the more, like, I feel all my emotions always. And my brother, like I said, her health wasn't great, and he was a huge and a surprise and a blessing in itself. And she was beating something, and she didn't know what she was beating. And then when she got done, it was a little medicine hat, like the medicine men wore when back in the day, and it had the 4 colors on there. And the medicine man had seen her. My mother was very strong in faith, and that's how we got to keep her, because of her faith. She was raised in church, but then she went into traditional more so, and so did my grandfather, especially after my mom's health wasn't so great. After my sister, then I never really met anyone with a Apache name. A few years later, my auntie Vanessa had a daughter, Nalin. Some of you might know what her name means. It means girl in Apache. Her sister, Najoni, is beautiful. Base signifies the hoops and a ceremony that we do. Their name has meaning, and that was given to them on their birth certificate and everything. I wanted to acknowledge that, because these girls, they travel and they speak for our people. They speak for all their relatives. And I want you to know you have some strong ones, because we come from that family where we are those seeds. We were planted, and they're blooming, and I'm so proud of them. When I was asked about the prayer talk, I was like, what am I going to talk about? Like, I can't share a song. You can't tell someone how to pray. But I come from a traditional family, and I come from a family of runners. I'm a Sacred Spirit mountain runner. From Mount Graham, I have a strong connection with Mount Graham personally, with, well, we all do, but with me, with my mother, and I've seen what it could do. And I've seen her faith in it, and I actually was in one of the newspaper clips. My mom has me in a stroller, so it's easy for me to keep track of the annual, because it happened around the time I was born. So if you want to know how many years, then I can tell you. And I was like, Shayu. Oh, and then Shayu, the baby, and what signifies the sun, the sunshine, the sun rising, I believe. And coming from Mount, thank you, Daryl, for your story, because like I said, I was raised in that. And there's no questions asked. You have your shoes by the door. You hear a honk outside. We're going running. Everybody jumps in the truck. You don't ask where we're going. It's just always a good time. And we were those ones that were out here playing. We grew up on the mountain. And as young as we are, and as young as my cousins, they call me auntie, but really we're cousins. I would have them at ceremonies. I would help them when their mom was, their mom was tending to things and such. But as young as we are, it may not seem that we haven't been scared of losing something, because we had a fire that affected Mount Graham. And I remember how hurt we were and how much we were so sad after, because the holy water we went to go retrieve, there was hardly any. And to the elder that shared her story yesterday at the round table talk, thank you for that story, because I've felt it. But not to that extent, because we were able to have more water the following year. But me and my cousins were going down the stream, down the mountain, and we're like hiking and trying to be respectful to the mountain. We're trying to be quiet and everything. And then finally we got word that we found there's some water. And we had to dig. And the more we were digging, the more we were praying, the water was coming. And we were able to retrieve some water for us and our families. And still being frugal and being mindful of everyone that was with us. And that lasts us through the year. I can tell you all these things, but like I said, I was raised in it. That's my life. So my mom was a single mother as well, and I spent a lot of time with my grandfather. A lot of time in his truck and traveling with him. And one conversation that I think of all the time was he asked me when I was going to graduate. He said, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do after you graduate?" And I thought about it. I knew I was going to be in the health and medical field. And I said, "I want to take care of people." He said, "Okay." I told him, in the medical field. And then it was quiet. And I said, "I want to travel, though. I want to go to different reservations. I want to go to the different tribes. And I want to see how they pray to our Creator. I want to learn those things." And he took a pause and he nodded his head. He said, "If you want to do that, you can do it." Little did I know, once I graduated, I went and I lived with my great aunt Amaji and her husband Thomas. I'm in the Pomo Ilem tribe. I got to live there 2 years, and he was very rich in his culture, and I learned a lot. I got to go to the big hit dances, the dances at night with all the pennies glistening in the fire. I got to see where all the tuies sit on all the tuies, sleep on all the tuies. I got to learn their ways. And I took it all in. I moved to New Mexico. My best friend ended up being Oglala Lakota, and she's so strong in her ways, and her family and actually are Sundance family, so they help conduct Sundance. And so she's rich in her ways, and I got to learn things. A lot of my friends were Dene, and then I was gathering all these things that are similar, and I end up in Pomo territory, or Pueblo territory. I ended up there for almost like 9 years. The family I was with was very rich in their culture, and I learned so much. And even their dancers, their sacred dancers, their kachinas, they're similar to our Gon, and certain things that they do. All these things came together, and I'm very blessed to have learned. But I think because of these runs of our Sacred Spirit Mountain Run, I got to interact with all these different tribes, all these different peoples, and learn where they come from and learn who they are. I saw a video and it said, teach your little ones who they are. It's not like by their name. And she asks, who are you? And he said his name. She said, no, but who are you? And then he said his name and he said where he's from. He gave his tribe. And that's beautiful to see because we are all rising and uniting. Learning all these things from all these different tribes. I also learned that no matter where you are, you can pray. Even if you don't have cornmeal, if you don't have hadin, pollen, use Mother Earth. With all the prayers, even with the gone, we always pray for everything around us, all the people, all the way down to the ants. And when my family shared with the runners coming in, that hit home for us. And all the beautiful speakers and the gifts that my uncle got today, it's like the ones that we lost, our loved ones, his brother-in-law, his mother, things are all coming in and falling into place that I can see. I want to thank everybody for having us, who put this together. Wherever we go, we don't take it lightly. We treat the land with respect. We always give back, and there's so much sacredness in everything that we do with uniting. I'm just encouraging you all to pray. There's so much in prayer, and that's for everything, for the earth, for yourself, for your family, for your friends. Everything in your life coincides with it. And I know I wanted to share more with you, but I want to thank everyone that came out. They've said it a number of times about how they're in the movement. They're with Oak Flat. They're with Apache Stronghold. We appreciate it, but like they said, this is like the blueprint for everything too, because it's not just Oak Flat. It's Mount Graham, and it's San Francisco Peaks, and it's like all the mining, the pipelines, and everything. But just know that your sacrifices and your traveling, everything that you've done, we've all had sacrifices, we've all had hardship. Just know that it comes back tenfold because we know where your heart was. May many blessings come back to you for all that you do. All the prayers, even if you're, standing right beside anyone, you're helping with any little thing. Just know it's so appreciated. And know that you'll get it back in return. Might not be today, tomorrow, or next week, but it'll come back to you. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dominique. I'd like to call up Vernalda Grant again. I know people already heard, but she's the Tribal Historic Preservation Officer for San Carlos Apache Tribe and the head of the archaeology.
Thanks. Just wanted to introduce Uncle Pete Cranston Hoffman. He is a leader of the Holy Grounds, one of the Holy Grounds group on the San Carlos Apache reservation for our tribe. And I guess in this family that we have, we're related. Everybody's related. So there's Winslow. We were just laughing when Dominique was saying, Winslow is, I think, just a few years older than me. And I always say he's my uncle, but really he's a cousin to me. And I always think He's way older than me, so I have to call him uncle, and so I could be respectful to him. But it's just a little joke, you know. It's just, you know, we laugh, and then so I guess Vanessa's my niece, and so I could tell her what to do all the time. Then she doesn't know that, but and she can't ask me for money either. So, but it's a funny, you know. We need laughter, and it's been really good to laugh with you guys right today too. Much needed. So it's just been so hectic, and so it's much appreciated, even within our group too. We just there's a lot of things that each and every one of us has a lot of roles to play. So it's really good to have that laughter. But Uncle Pete, like Ramon up there in the White River, Uncle Pete plays a really central role. He's been out there saying all these prayers for us, and he's a spiritual warrior. He's a medicine man, and he has his singers with him. They're young men in his group. There's older men in his group. There are women in his group that are from our tribe and the White Mountain Apache tribe. They come together and have a holy grounds where they have these staffs and things that represent the 4 cardinal directions. And this is all these things, you know, everywhere we go, you know, it's our church, you know, for lack of better words. And they've been, I guess, for more lack of better words too, like sticking their neck out for everybody. And one of the things like faith leaders do is, you know, they lead a congregation of people, and he leads his group and he in prayer. And they do it without getting paid, you know, and they do it with just, you know, offerings, boxes, and whatever that they split among themselves for gas money, things to help them do more free prayers out of their hearts for other people that need it. And they travel all over, and they're asked to do these prayers. And he's here with us. He's a veteran, and he has other veterans in his group, and they're with us too. You know, they sacrificed a lot for this country, for all of us. I think I've learned to be respectful to that, because I've seen how they've suffered physically and mentally from what they were put through. And anyways, I want to call Uncle Pete up, and he's going to be singing a song, and this song and the prayers, I'm sure he'll speak on it, but we're all here in hopes that the decision or the mind and the hearts of the judges there, I think 11 judges on Tuesday, will decide upon these things, that there's a lot of things riding on their decision. And we hope that they understand that the decisions that they make really, you know, hopefully they stand together, and the decision they make will be on behalf of what we're standing for and fighting for and praying for. I don't think we'll ever stop doing that. So whatever it is, you know, we hope that, you know, all of us coming together and these things that we send to the judges and our lawyers and everybody else involved, it's for the goodness of what Creator made. So here's Uncle Pete.
She, Arishni, Pete Gunse, Tanaskizan, Shri, Stin Ayabanchti, Giko, Wanaguligo, Inet Narasiti, Wanaguligo, Yainet Sizini, Binetko, Oka, Pilsaan, Oka, Pilate, Wanaguligo. Diko, Tasaasi, Andarit Ako, Diko Kehube, Benarizan Ako, Narizan Bigi Ako. As we sing this last song, it's a march to what we're all fighting for, but through prayer. It's a big fight that we're gonna go up against, but it takes prayer to go. And so this last song, you know, I want everybody to dance, those that can dance, kind of like in a round dance. So, and this is our forward march as we go forward, and keep everything in prayer and be praying about our fight, your fight, and everything. And so we go forward from here. It's a great day. And the rain have let up some, but it's a blessing. So as we go forward,
Don't want anyone to sprain their ankles. That's weak. Go ahead, we can. Go ahead, you could put it in center.
Iko ke hove nari hina ko tije hanatsi le. Tije ke hove nahi tire le sako. Be ke hove yendawo ahi. Be bichije ke hove. Benawo arole. Gancho sting gancho nant anna ko ke hove. Nena nano stot taros ni wala sanos kaida. Intini ko ke hove. Tayo iyo nanara bidi snahule. At uhi ke hove. Ne tene uno chepan le sto eko ara buana gudi ko ti se harit ko da ko ki bana no ke ko da zone ele ko ye da
Concludes our day here, Sunday, March 19th, with the Apache Stronghold here in Pasadena.
Thank you.